Right now, everyone here at the office, as well as across the entire country, I imagine, is glued to their televisions and their computers watching the live election results map. This is your 2020 election update, and I'm Roman from Epoch Times. So let's dive right into what's been happening. But before we do, take a second to smash that like button below this video, and that tells the YouTube algorithm to recommend this video to more people. We put a ton of research and work into this video, so that little click of yours can help spread it to potentially thousands of more people. So leading up to the election, if you live in a big city, you've probably been seeing lots of shops and businesses being boarded up out of fear of possible unrest, rioting, and looting post-election. Fortunately, except for a few isolated skirmishes and some small-scale property damage, thus far it's been relatively peaceful. In terms of what actually happened last night, about a block away from the White House, over 1,000 people protested against President Trump, and hundreds more marched through parts of downtown Washington, blocking traffic and setting off fireworks. In Los Angeles, police arrested about 40 people near the downtown area because they were blocking train tracks and failed to leave after the LAPD declared the gathering to be an unlawful assembly. There were also scattered protests that took place in Seattle and Portland. There were some videos on social media that we saw of people burning the American flag in Portland right outside of the Justice Center there. But if you've ever been to Portland, that type of display is frankly not really an anomaly. And here in New York City, we were actually out there last night with our riot gear just in case, and nothing major really happened. We saw the NYPD, they were out in full force. We were driving around the city and it seemed like there was a police cruiser stationed on every single block. The only protest that we actually saw was a gathering of about maybe 30 to 40 people organized by the Revolutionary Communist Party USA over in Union Square, and they marched westward down 14th Street around midnight and dissipated without much fanfare. So far, fortunately, things have been relatively peaceful in America. So let's jump right into the election results. Right now, the election is neck and neck, with the main points of interest, the places that are still up in the air, being Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Let's go through them together. Let's start with Arizona. The Associated Press called it for Biden at 2:50 a.m. last night. However, a Trump campaign advisor told the Epoch Times that in his opinion, they called Arizona way too early. Right now, with only 86% of the vote having been tabulated, the Trump campaign believes that Trump will actually win Arizona with a margin of about 30,000 votes. But at the moment, if you look at the live results, you'll see that President Trump is actually trailing Joe Biden by about 100,000 votes. So the Trump campaign must be expecting that the remaining about 14% of these still uncounted votes to be heavily in the president's favor. Officials in Arizona's Maricopa County, which includes Phoenix, said that they'll update the results at around 9 p.m. tonight Eastern Time. So we'll have to wait to see if those votes actually materialize. Now in Arizona, if you've been following social media, there have been some rumors earlier today that poll workers were giving SHARPIES for people to use in their voter tickets in Maricopa and Pima counties, and that this led people's votes to being invalidated because the ink inside of the SHARPIES isn't recognized by the machines. People on social media said that this led their ballots to be either canceled or invalidated. However, the Maricopa County Elections Department came out today and said that there was no problem with using SHARPIES on voting tickets, and said that the voting tabulation machines could read the ink just fine. So we'll keep you abreast if any more developments come about in terms of that. Over in Wisconsin, the Associated Press, as well as CNN, called it as a win for Biden. The Wisconsin Election Commission administrator said that all of the ballots in the state have now been counted, and it shows that Joe Biden has about a 20,000 vote lead over President Trump. However, President Trump's campaign manager came out today and made a statement saying that the Trump campaign will demand a recount in Wisconsin, saying that they are, quote, in recount territory, with a tight race being within a 1% margin. In terms of the other states, at the moment, with the reported numbers that we're looking at now, President Trump is leading Joe Biden in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Alaska, and Georgia. If President Trump picks up those 4 states, he will still be 2 electoral votes short of the 270 needed to win, and will therefore still need either Arizona, Michigan, and/or Wisconsin to win the election. And if there is recounting or litigation involved, it could be a relatively long process with us not knowing the winner for quite some time. And as an interesting aside, Maine and Nebraska are the only 2 states in the nation that actually split their electoral votes if the vote count warrants it. So in Nebraska, President Trump won the statewide election, but picked up only 4 out of the state's 5 electoral votes. While in Maine, Joe Biden won the statewide election, but Maine's 2 electoral votes were split evenly between Trump and Biden. So as you can see, it is a super tight race that's coming down to the wire and might even result in recounts and possible legal battles, something that both President Trump and Joe Biden indicated that they're getting ready for. Now, in terms of the US Senate, it looks very likely that the Republicans will be holding on to a majority. Out of the races that have now been called, the Democrats have been able to flip 2 seats and the Republicans have been able to flip 1 seat, resulting in a net gain of only 1 seat for the Democrats. And judging by how the races are looking in Alaska, Georgia, North Carolina, and Michigan, it's looking like the Republicans will hold on to their majority. In terms of the House, it's looking like the Democrats will maintain their majority there. Democrats there were able to flip 2 seats, while the Republicans were able to flip 7 seats thus far, leading to a +5 net gain for the Republicans, but of course still a majority lead for the Democrats in the House. So as this tight race in the legislative as well as the executive branch is still getting tabulated, as businesses even to this day are still boarding up their windows, and as both Trump and Biden's teams are getting ready for possible lengthy legal battles, I would highly recommend that you subscribe to this channel by clicking on that subscribe button below this video, so that way you can stay up to date on everything that's happening with a media that reports honestly without spinning the facts. Until next time, I'm Roman with the Epoch Times. Stay informed and stay free.